Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are live. We are rocking. And we are here for round 2 of the bronze split action this evening, brought to you by ACCSimSeries. My name's Dan Terry. And this evening I'm joined in the booth by the sexiest man in sim racing, Paul Glover. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thank you. If I'm the sexiest, you've got to be the second sexiest, haven't you?
I mean, we're up there. We're
No,
definitely up there with the
we're
contenders. So
definitely up there. Yeah.
yeah,
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Round 2, bronze, Nurburgring. Here we are.
yeah, it's gonna be an action-packed evening this evening. I mean, it's the first and only race around Nurburgring this weekend that's going to be dry. So we'll be able to see what our bronze drivers can lay down in terms of rubber on the track. Essentially, it's the only time that it's gonna see a nice clean run throughout the weekend. So
Yeah. Are you a fan of this track? Because I quite like it, Nurburgring.
I quite like it. I do prefer it in the wet, hence why it's going to be wet for the rest of the weekend. But I mean, it isn't. I don't know.
Why do you prefer it in the wet? I don't think I've actually driven it in the wet, and I really should practice before Sunday. But...
Because there's a lot. The technical. I find the technical areas such as the arena, such as sort of not the Schumacher-esque, but the left-hander after that, and the chicane become a lot easier for me in the wet than they are in the dry, because it's not so much sort of. I'm very lazy. We all know I'm a very lazy sim racer when it comes to gear shifting and stuff like that. Right. And especially when you're going through the Schumacher-esque, you haven't necessarily got to do get through as many gears and many short shifts as you normally would in my setup anyway in the wet. But I just think it's just good fun. And the thing is, I got bad memories of this in the dry because this is contender of crash of or incident of ACCSS where I totaled half the grid on the green flag drop. So we haven't had it. I haven't had it in the wet yet. So it'll be good fun. What's your thoughts on Nurburgring?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's not my quickest track, and like you say, it's quite technical in the middle, and it's amazing how around here I feel like you feel like you do the corner exactly the same, but you'll look at the time and you'll be like you're half a second up, and you're like, how has that worked?
Definitely.
And then the next lap you'll be half a second down, and you're just like, what? I've done exactly the same thing. And you're like, because when you do it, you're like, right, repeat repeat what you did. Remember, where you braked, where you turned in. But it is a technical track. The only thing I'd say is, unless you're a lot faster car ahead, it is hard to overtake here. So patience is needed from the drivers. And even down the long straight into the chicane, it's not necessarily an overtaking point. I'm sure we'll see it into the first corner, as we know. That's generally carnage as it drops down the hill there, and a lot of the time people miss their braking zone, especially on first lap incidents. And then the next 2 or 3, 4 corners are quite windy and tight, so everybody's pretty much bunched together. So often you see a lot of carnage in the first couple of laps around here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll head over and have a little look at the championship table quickly as it is after round number 1. Let's get that up. There we go. So as you can see, let me just move this over. It's on our heads at the moment. Let's fix that quickly. There we go. So in Tier 6 then, we've got Jacob Sorensen leading the way, picking up 2 wins at Bathurst. Very tricky track to win once, let alone twice in a row. Baldetto finishing second, and G. Gray is third in Tier 6. And anyone particularly surprise you being high or low in that Tier 6 table?
That's a really good question. I was just about to load up the table myself to have a look. Actually, I was completely unprepared, if I'm being honest. Let's have a look at the standings. To be honest, yeah, Olivier caught me a little bit unawares. Maybe I've been a bit harsh, but every time I've driven with him, he's normally towards the back. He's potentially found the group that matches his pace. He had a solid race 1. I think he was in the top 3, if I remember rightly, from the in race 1, and then not such a good result in race 2. Actually, no, he won race 1, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
He won race 1 because there's a few incidents up and down the mountain and pit stops.
And then race 2, he was all the way. down in 16th, so not such a good second race, but showing a bit more consistency. And he did better than I did around the mountain. So kudos there. So yeah, he surprised me a little bit. Anybody for you?
Yes, I think in tier 6, obviously, there's a lot of names in there that I don't recognise. So it was good to see a few new drivers in on track and to see where they sort of filed in, especially having obviously that difficult round 1 being in the mountain at Bathurst for round 1. I think in tier 5, like I said, we've got David Long. We mentioned Olivier Hamal. Neves also picking up the win as well. That was a new name for myself, but I think Gareth in the Jag done performed really, really well. He's in 9th in tier 5. I think what is he overall at the moment? He is 19th overall out of both the tiers combined, but picking up points, I think, in both races, which was good to see. Especially seeing, I think he had a bit of a nightmare race one, if I remember correctly, seeing he had quite a few sort of bumps and dents on his car as he.
Yeah.
I think he was telling me that he didn't want to go and pit. He had damage before the pit window opened, but didn't want to go and pit due to just due to having to pit twice. I think Daniel Durrett, again, maybe one that can shine a light on a little bit today. I think he's quicker than where he ended up. I think he didn't have the greatest of times in the mountain. But yeah, I think overall a lot of new names, a lot of mixtures of performances, and a lot of people on show today.
So I think
we've just headed over into qualifying.
Yeah. So it was quite a lot of new names, which I'd never, like you just clocked. I'd never even heard of them. So it's really hard to predict people that you have no idea who they are. But Neves, who won race 2 at Bathurst, I saw was flying quite well in practice just now. So expecting to be up there again this time around. Paddy Redmond, I know Paddy. He and I went to Sim Racing Expo, I think back in 2018 now, and with a load of myself and Bram Hungerfeld from Paul Jeffrey and a couple other staff members from race department, us and a few of the site's members got a couple of holiday site kind of accommodation. Literally, it was like a day away from the track. Terrible internet. But we had a great weekend. So I suspect Paddy's probably the oldest driver in ACCSS. So
fair enough. We'll have to do a poll one day and see what the age of the drivers we've got.
It would surprise me if there's anybody older, to be honest. Being a granddad himself, but joined. This is his first season, so he had a good first race. Not such a good second race, but I'm sure he's absolutely loving it. So it's good to see him joined.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a slightly warmer track for the guys in qualifying stage at 32 degrees. So we'll have to see how that contends. We were doing a few laps earlier and it was a little bit cooler and the rear tyres were definitely getting chewed to pieces after 4 or 5 laps. So we'll have to see, especially if it stays around this temperature for the race. We've got the race is a couple of hours in-game time later, so it might cool down slightly. We're about to jump on board with Joe Smeets. What camera should we have? We'll have that camera. As he's the first one around to do a timed lap. I don't know if you know more about Nurburgring than I do and you want to talk us through the lap?
I can very much
attempt.
Try. Let me. Where is he on the board at the moment? There we go. Right. Okay. So down into the first right-hander. Braking point is very. You'll see some people like to go deep. Some people like to go in tight. As we now go into the left-hander, running a little bit wider. I find the best line. You could use the AstroTurf, but not too much. Otherwise, you might throw the car out a little bit. Again, you want to go a little bit tighter, then swing the car over to the left, over to the right, clip that curb ever so slightly, and that is where I get a lot of track cuts on the exit. There, coming down to the next left-hander, braking around about where the cone is, shearing it in to third gear should do you, then quickly over to the left and onto the right-hander. And then if you can really make those corners like seem like one because they're in such quick succession, And sometimes they just seem to flow. So I brake just at the where the rumble strips on the left-hand side there, turning the car in, getting on the throttle nice and early, using the AstroTurf on the right side. Now here you want to go slightly up on the curb, chuck the car in, lift off ever so slightly, and then pump that throttle back down again, and then coming over to the right. This is a one that drivers will often find running wide there into this left, then into the next right. And here it's like that's a really annoying corner, that one, because you want to get on the throttle, but you've got to kind of just sort of hold it back. Otherwise, if you get on too early, you're just going to run wide and onto the grass. And then this chicane here, probably brake it about now into third gear. And again, if you could take not enough speed off there and just throw it in and just throw your race away. And again, the final corner, again, it's like it's excruciating because you just want to get on with it. You just want to get on and get over that line and set a lap time. And what does he manage?
A 59.7. Not too bad, to be honest. It's definitely up there with probably one of his better laps.
I mean, I don't know if anybody said it first, but when I looked at the live timings, I saw that somebody had set a 1:56, and I suspect that was Neves. So, yeah, not a bad start. Ian Otley there, Eric Von.
Yeah, Eckhart von going. Oscar Isberg goes in at a 58.8, and Dave Wirch goes in at a 58.9. Is that 50? It might be a 59 flat, essentially. That lap there.
Trying to click through. I just keep losing my mouse. Oh, there it is. Right. Open your eyes, Paul. That helps. So yeah, in the Bentley, that's what I'm driving this season. I've not done a lap in anger yet around here in the Bentley, but I feel quietly confident. It's one of my. I feel like it's not a track I have to put in loads of practice in. So I actually noticed this week because I thought about taking part in Thursday night's practice, but there were only about 10 drivers, so I decided not to take part. But I've noticed watching the stream. I've noticed watching your stream and also my stream. A few cars seem to be sliding around a little bit tonight, as if there might be some internet issues at play. So I don't know if it's server side but I've noticed it myself, and I noticed on your Discord stream to me that a couple of drivers are moving around weirdly. So
I don't think it's
something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I don't think it's my internet today, but
I
see exactly the same thing as you. I've asked one of our staff members in the staff chat to jump on the server and have a little look. Gareth, can you send me a screenshot in game of what your ping looks like into the staff chat, please? In the bottom left, if you can see it.
Okay, one of the guys in chat saying the practice server.
They're not linked to each other, so it may be ACC side. Our practice and our race servers are supplied by two different people. So. Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, it has been known that if Kunos are having some issues, let's hope. Quite a few people got yellow bars. Actually, I did see Gareth put that in chat as well. So.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we get any...
These are the challenges of racing over the internet, aren't they?
Oh, literally all of them have just gone down to normal. So we're going to blame ACC and Kunos for that one. Yeah. They're not as low as they normally are, but they are getting there.
Well, as long as they settle down for the race, that's the main thing.
Yeah, so let's have a little look at who's...
It's all that close contact, isn't it? So
yeah, so Baldetto's at a 58 flat. He's up on his time. McCloskey is 5 tenths off. He's up on his time as well. Joe Smeets is 5 tenths up. That's good enough probably to put him into 6th or 7th.
See someone driving the Nissan as well, isn't it? We don't see enough of these those cars.
Yeah, they're definitely a favourite pick of one or two drivers, but not in the majority. A couple of drivers on a quali ban this evening. Both of them are in Tier 6, so you won't see a time from Chardons or Webb this evening. Yeah, they're both on qualification bans. I mean, to only have 2 quali bans in the mountain, and they're only just as well. They're both on 6 penalty points. So, but that will clear.
Yeah,
They'll,
when you think about it, yeah, it's not too shabby, is it really?
no. They'll serve their quali bans. Their points will reset back to 0, and we can go again. So Baldetto now into the 57s. That's the sort of time I expected, because I seem to think that I expect this probably from tier 5 and maybe not tier 6 as such, but seems to me that tier 5 sort of the pace I tend to sit at. As Kunos are having another meltdown with their servers, and everyone's ping bars go yellow again.
Okay, I just need to drop off and reconnect. So while I
reset the live timing as well when you do that, because it won't carry over.
Oh, it's on there. I've got that running on my second PC.
So talking of that, we've got live timing then for this evening. It's more ideal to get it up during the race. The bits we notice is it still counts invalidated laps on that system. We've reported it back to the guys that run that tool for not just for us, for every community that would like it.
Oh, Smeek's went a little bit wide.
It's a little bit loosey-goosey. Dave Wirch up 2/10 going into the hairpin.
157 currently for our tier 6 drivers. That's not too shabby. I wonder how the guys will cope in the treacherous conditions.
No, there'll be no. It's always dry in bronze. It's always dry in bronze.
Right. I thought you were suggesting anyone that was going to be wet.
No. We've got. So how it works is bronze is always dry. The races are always at 2 and at 7 in-game time every week, no matter what. Silvers, they get the same weather from start to finish. So if it's wet at the start of free practice, expect it to be that wet from start to finish. Essentially, if it's dry, expect it to be dry. It won't necessarily change. There's no weather randomness on the server, so it will stay the same whatever it is from start to finish. And then our gold or our pro drivers, they're the ones that have got the sort of high weather randomness. So they'll sometimes they might get some change during the sessions. They might have one dry race, one wet race. They might have a wet quali.
I'm hoping for wet, because I don't know what it is, but I'm all right in the wet.
Dave Wirch then goes up to P4. Ian Otley's was up on his time. He seems to have lost it coming out of the arena.
Shame. It's a tight. It's tough there in that particular section of the track. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier on. It's
Jacob Sorensen, who's our tier 6 championship leader at the moment. Couldn't expect a little better from him. He's in P9 at the moment, 1.5 seconds off the pace. He has found 3 temps though through the arena, so see if he can carry it into the rest of the lap. Sorry, I cut you off there, Paul. What were you saying? Sorry.
I can't even remember.
Sorry.
Because my mind then started focusing on getting the my apps working properly. So yeah, I completely that threw me.
I can't tell you that, Jason. If what I'll be expecting, but all the event configs are up pretty much they're pretty much guaranteed to be ready by the Wednesday of the week. So for example, our config was set for silvers and golds on Wednesday. You can see that information on SGP under event config. And they're always set by Wednesday at the latest for the week ahead. So our practice servers always run just a clean, dry track, just because it's the consistent throughout them all.
Yeah, which I completely understand. It's trying to make it fair as possible.
I prepare for everything, Jason. I have wet, I have dry setups, I have everything ready for the day. Actually, to be fair, we've already said this most of the time, is I just turn up and drive whatever's out in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for wet. I don't know what it is, but I tend to perform. I mean, Brands Hatch was a prime example last season. You know, I won the class that I was in both races, so not quite able to keep up with the top guys, but I'm able to perform better than most people in those tricky conditions. So
I want
I
a
don't know
wet
why.
I want a wet spa because I haven't got the balls to take Eau Rouge flat, or pretty much flat every time, and yeah, I haven't got the balls to do that. Whereas a lot of drivers have, so I'm instantly already like 2 or 3 tenths off of uh, the fastest guys because I just haven't got the temperament to send it up Eau Rouge Radion like completely flat. So if it's wet, no one will be because they'll be all over the place. So
Well, yeah, and it depends how wet it is, as we saw in the SRO esports event. You know, the puddle collects at the top there, and
sends everyone into a wall.
absolute carnage. Yeah. So and I would imagine around here there are, because of the adulation, especially on the first, if it rains a lot on Sunday, that
Yeah,
first corner is
that first
going to be
corner, that
puddle.
first sector, essentially, isn't it? All the way
Yeah.
down to the hairpins. Oh, pardon me. It's all downhill. Roy Bottomley's then up. He's up a second. It's good enough to put him into P6 if he can bag the rest of the time through the final corner. This may even be the last lap he gets in. He might be able to cut it just about fine. Is he going to make it over the
No, he's
line?
not.
Well, for me, he did. We have to see
He
what the
did.
stewards has to say.
Yeah, no, he did.
He's
But
pulled over anyway, I think.
he's pulled
Sorensen
over
up
anyway.
7 tenths. I think it's just because the track's just turned optimum for those last few drivers out on that. And they're the last two that are up, essentially. Everyone else is down or in the pits. Let's head on over and have a little look at car 321 then. Ray Birch, first one out of the pits. And that Ferrari Evo.
Livery.
It's alright, it's alright. Seen worse. So you've got Baldetta then on pole for the Tier 6 drivers. Vita Ispello? I don't know. And P2. Roy Bottomley P3. Richard McCloskey P4. Oscar Iberg P5. Dave Wirch P6. Jacob Sorensen, our championship leader in Tier 6, is in P7. Eckhart Vaughan Glanz P8. Christian Smith is P9. Joe Smeets P10. Alice McGuigan 13. Ian Otley 14. Craig Gibson 30. What was I get up to? Alex McGuigan 11th, sorry. Ian Otley 12th. Craig Gibson 13th. Peter Ward 14th. Vito Fernandez 15th. And obviously the two guys at the back of the grid that were on qualification bans. That's Lewis Webb and Mark Chardons.
I've worked out why my app wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing, so that's good. Right. Awesome. Back in the game. Right, I've got live timing in front of me, so I know what you're talking about now. That always helps. Oh, fun. The wonders of technology, eh?
Wonders of
Gotta love it.
Wonders of technology indeed. So Ray Birchland about to come start his lap. I keep forgetting what camera it is. 2 and 3 are the ones I want. 3's the rear view. 2's the front view.
Yeah, but it messes around sometimes because you think, well, if I push 3, last time it was on the rear wing, it's like,
yeah, onboard 3 is the rear wing, definitely. So Ray Birch then starting his lap. Like I said earlier on, wants to look at that runoff on the left-hand side before dropping down the gears into first for the first right-hander. Be careful not to cut too much of the inside. Up into second, want to lift it nice and easily into the arena. The arena is very much about sort of trail braking and throttle control as you head into the exit. You want to try and get as much of your left tyre over that curb on the inside as possibly can to help you pull you round. Little short shift into second, onto the exit. Try and carry as much speed as you possibly can on the way down into for the rest of sector 1. Looking for the off-road on the right, slamming down the brakes down one gear into third. Onto the brakes again into second as we hug this right curve as much as possibly can. And you want to use as much of that green runoff on the exit. And we're going to head downhill all the way into the hairpin, assuming spot where his braking marker might be. Like I said, in the middle of that sort of the runoff area and the rumble strip. Down into different cars vary. I like to go through in second. Some will do third and use as much of that green runoff. Then as Paul Glover mentioned earlier, up on this curb on the right hand side to carry yourself through the Schumacher S with as much speed as you possibly can as you try and get through the middle of sector 2. Looking for the board on the right-hand side. There it is. Slam it down into second. Carry as much speed. You want to be nice and tight to that curb on the left-hand side. Through the power. Then this is a nice tricky one. A little bit of trail braking as we go into the right-hander. Then it's full power. Open up those Ferrari horses as we head up the hill into the final chicane. Now, let's have to see where the braking point is. I tend to go somewhere between the 50 and 100. Very similar to what Ray Birch has gone there. Into second gear. Carry over as much of the curbs you possibly can. Up into third and dropping it down into the Coca-Cola curve, I believe it is, the last corner. If I remember correctly, I want to use as much of that runoff on the left-hand side. And Ray Birch had a fantastic... It felt relatively smooth. There's a little bit of time there you can find, but he was actually invalidated. All that energy, nothing. Oh, I've been kicked from the server.
Yeah, there was another slight peak there on some of the.
How many went? Did anyone else go, or was it just me?
I don't know, but you dropped last week as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but I've reset on my internet and checked it all today.
Yeah, but it could be, right, doesn't necessarily mean it's. Yeah, I mean, right. I'm watching Ray at the moment. He's darting around a little bit, so and I'll notice that some of the bars have gone a little bit yellow. Again, some of them are red, like Mr. Alan Hopkins. So there's some generic issues this evening. So, yeah, it looks like there might be some challenges around that. Okay, Laszlo Nemeth is currently, looks like he's nearly a second up on his best time. He's currently in 23rd. So, who else is up a lot at the moment? Yeah, Bruce Hopkins is also up 0.8 seconds at the moment as well. So a couple of drivers hoping to... so Lazio Nemeth is currently in 23rd and Gary Allen's also up a second as well. So a couple of drivers are finding time. So these guys are currently out of position because they've only just started their qualifying. As you know, the tier 6 guys, the AMs, go out first with the red bar, and then the guys with the white bar in the pros, which are tier 5, they come out for the second half after 15 minutes countdown has expired. So, but yeah, the server situation is not looking too great, but hopefully it starts to settle down again. It's not what you need, but these are the challenges that drivers face. So he's 1.5 seconds up at the moment, so I think that's going to put him into the 158. So he's looking at a top 10 potentially right now with the times they currently are. Let's see.
Is he invalidated? We've gone through the whole...
Invalidated it. Yeah.
Olivier
Hamal
was a second up, puts himself up into 12. Got Haller on pole. I believe Haller got pole at... Haller was driving away with it at Bathurst as well.
He's about to cross the line. He's currently, sorry to cut you off, a second up. So he's about to hit a 159, I think. He's done a 158.7, so he goes up into 13th.
Solid drive there for Yes, I think Marcus was on pole for Bathurst, and so I'm just trying to have a look at these server issues while I'm talking, which isn't a great deal to do.
It's absolutely fine. Yeah, not a problem.
But yeah, I think Haller was on pole and then binned it a couple of times. I'll let you solo cast for a second while I am here and I'm listening.
So I'm looking at Beveridge at the moment. He's coming in 16th. He's a second up in the Aston Martin. Looking very much like a Golf livery from the past. He's coming now into the Schumachers. Up the hill. Here he goes. He's got Durrett in the Lambo ahead of him. Hopefully doesn't slow him down. He's now one second up. So his fastest is currently a 159.43. So he's gonna either do a low 158 or maybe a high 157 currently, I think. As Mr. Hello is currently Mr. Hello's gonna come across the line and set another time as he slipstreams the Aston ahead of him.
56.1 he's up to. Bahan is 2 tenths up. He's looking to creep into the...
Beveridge just lost a lot of the time than he had, unfortunately. So he's thrown it away. He's thrown a second up. He's still a half a second up, so he's going to gain a couple of positions, but shame. Just so easy to do. He did a 1:58.5, so he's up into 14th. That is a shame.
Yeah, it's a big shame for that one there. Paddy Redmond.
Michael Wilden's currently in 29th. He's a second up.
Paddy Redmond was 8 tenths up. He lost a little bit coming through the last corner. It was enough to put him up to P10.
Come on, Paddy.
Bruce Hopkins going over the line from 25th up to 18th. Like I said, Michael Whedon then. He's coming through the second sector now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's about to hit onto the back straight. So, he's the... Olivier was up, but he just threw it away. It's unfortunate. The best a man can get, Durrett, is he's half a second up, but he's just coming through the Schumachers. So Wilden is a second up still, so this should be a 1:59, low 1:59. 1:59.3, was that? Yeah. Up into 26th. So
We've got Gary Allen's half a second up. He's fallen behind another Aston that's pulled off to give him...
fastest lap. The car ahead of him's just got off the track to get out of his way, I think. But Gary, no, that was Gary Allen. Sorry, I'm watching Durrett. Sorry, going through the final chicane. He's nearly 3 seconds up. So this is going to be far. He was fast in practice as well. He just gained a load of time in that last couple of corners.
There we go, straight onto pole. 56, pretty much flat then from Daniel Durrett. Ed Terrell was... he was a second up. He banged that in and put himself up to P6 then.
So Wilden's going round again. He's half a second up already after the first sector. So as he goes through the second, he's now a second up. Just hope he can't... This time he doesn't throw anything away. So, again, the over to the right. Someone's taking out the brake marker there, I think. It's annoying. Into the right-hander.
The worrying thing is here, right, Gareth Ronda's still not set a time. He hasn't quali banned. He's had 4 invalidated laps so far. So, I have to see if he can bag himself one. Oh, he does. I literally speak of the devil when he does. He puts himself up into 29th position.
Right, that was worth waiting for, wasn't it? Right, he's Weldon's into the final chicane, into the final corner of the Coca-Cola. He's 1.6 up, so 1:57 something.
Yeah, I think so. He's up to he might even put in mid 57.
1:57.5. There we go. That's much better. That's more probably what he like. Gareth is 2 tenths up currently. He's going through the stadium sector. Oh, he's lost it. He's thrown it. He's thrown it away. He's thrown it away. Ray Birch is up half a second currently. He's in 16th at the moment. He goes across the line, 1:57.9. So up into
9th, I think it moved it up to. 13th, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Nemeth's 4 tenths up then. That's going to put him up into maybe even P3. P3. We go get into the last couple of laps now. Ray Birch, 2 tenths up as he goes into the arena. Lost a little bit of time through the middle, but gained it on the exit. Andy Bahan as well has found a load of time in the hairpin.
Stephen Wally is also slightly up, but he's on the edge. He might gain a position or two as he goes down the back straight, but he's equal to his best at the moment, which is a 1:58.8. So I'll keep with just over 2 minutes of qualifying left to go. You'd expect these times to go quick. Andy Behan's now nearly a second up, so I think we switch to him after Stephen crosses the line and see if he can gain some time out the final corner. He can, ever so slightly by the looks of it. It's going to do a 1:58.7. There we go, up into 21st. Behan half a second up into the final corner. Can he gain some time going through there? No, he can't, but he doesn't lose any either. And going to cross the line. Up into 7th with a 1:57.4. Nice.
Solid lap
Good to see a
there.
McLaren up there. Oh, there's a couple of McLarens up there. What was I saying? Paul, pay attention. Note to self. Okay. A man we haven't seen much of. Currently, Bruce Hopkins. He's starting his next flying lap. He's 0.1, 0.2 up at the moment. So, in the Rari. Let's... He's thrown that. He threw that time away, and then he gained it again. It's technical. That section there is very, very technical. And again, I think you can say about a lot of corners at Nurburgring is they make you want to put your foot down, but that's the wrong decision. You know, you've got to have a little patience to take that one sung. So I mean, his best currently is a 1:58.5. Which isn't shabby, but he's got more time there. He's just got to try and hook it all up and put it together. But I mean, he's lost a lot of time in that particular section. He's now over half a second down. Oh, Neves, who's coming in P8. He's half a second up. So he's looking at a low 150. He's on target for 1:57, but he's thrown a little bit of time away. But I would expect a little bit more from him. He did a 1:56 in practice, so he's definitely got it in him.
Yeah,
this is his last. This is the last lap because now the clock's down to 0. So got a few drivers out there, like Carl Beveridge is slightly up as well, but no one's really setting the leaderboard alight. The top 4 guys are in the pits by the looks of it. So
yeah,
top 3
everyone except David Long, who's half a second down. But
down, yeah. Majority of the guys are in the pits. So
Beveridge just moved up to 7th.
So can Neves gain? I don't think he can.
I think he lost a lot of time from that. I think from that Ferrari putting into the pits, but
no.
So we've got 3, 2, 1. Ray Birch out. He's not up at the moment. Last couple of guys then to cross over.
Yeah, Van Gastel's is slightly up, but he's lost it. Ray Birch is slightly up as well. He's lost it. So I mean, we see that a lot around Nurburgring. You're up and then you're down, then you're up, then you're down, you're up and you're down. So a bit like a seesaw.
Bit like a seesaw indeed. There we go. Ed Terrell then going to be the last car, I believe. Or 42. Van Gastel is on for his lap. This could be one of the last laps to come through from Ed Terrell. It is. Doesn't move him anywhere. So Nick Van Gastel then is going to be the last car on track. Needs to find 1.7 seconds, nearly 1.8 seconds even, but he's down by a tenth as he heads into the chicane. And that's going to invalidate in his lap then. So there we have it. Durrett finds himself on pole.
Durrett, the best a man can get.
So what we're going to do then, we're going to move into a very quick ad break. Go get yourself a drink for the start of the race, and we'll come back for our grid walk and the start of race number 1. This is the bronze split action from ACCSimSeries, round 2 of the Championship Series number 4. We'll be back with you shortly.
lucky people.
Oh, I said our faces, and I didn't even have your face on there. There we go. That's what it's like, and the side of a.
There was me thinking you were better than the last guy I did broadcasting.
Honestly,
with,
look, I'm trying to sort the servers out, trying to make sure our driver's aware of the situation, and have a good time. And I clicked in the wrong voice chat, trying to come back to here. And there we go then. So the race is about to start, so we can come away from our.
That is some shirt you've got on, by the way.
It's great, isn't it? I'm definitely in.
As he starts rubbing himself, yeah.
I'm definitely in a lockdown sort of vibe. There's a shirt on the top half and pajama bottoms on the bottom half with a blanket because it's freezing in my flat. So it's absolutely freezing in here. So business on the top end, comfort on the bottom end.
Why is it so cold in your flat?
Oh, we're not going to. We'll be here for the next half an hour.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
All right, let's get into.
I live in a Victorian house, so you can understand why sometimes certain rooms in my house are cold.
Oh, definitely.
But I've got a fuse box in where I am here, and I've noticed there's like a cavity, and there's I was like, why am I cold in here? Because the door's closed, got a radiator in here, and it's because there's a draft coming. So I've ordered some expanding foam.
Yeah, that's what we've had to use. We've got
to put the end to that. Anyway,
let's move over. Let's stop our life problems and get.
Yeah, that's it. No one wants to hear what we're talking about.
We'll move on to our virtual grid walk then.
First world problems.
Okay, first world problems indeed. So let's knock the camera down a little bit. We've got Direct then on pole, putting a 156 flat. Haller side by side with him. Couldn't get the pole position following on from Bathurst. Nemeth and Long. Baldet, the top tier 6 driver. Terrell in P6. Beveridge in P7. Bahan in P8. Neves and Wilden round out your top 10. And we've got Gary Allen, Usbello, Van Gastel and Birch. As we move back further down, we've got Redmond, Bottomley, McCloskey and Isberg. Then we've got David Wirch, Bruce Hopkins, Stephen Whaley, Olivier Hamal. And we've got Jacob Sorensen, the championship leader in Tier 6. Eckhart von Glan, Smith, Joe Smeets, Alice McGuigan, Baldwin Louis, Gareth Ronda, Ian Otley, Gibson, Peter Ward, Craig Gibson, Peter Ward, Fito Fernandez, and then Mark Chardons and Lewis Webb in that apparently champagne-coloured Aston Martin.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that colour. Is that champagne? It reminds me of something that comes out of a dog's bottom. But
I mean,
anyway,
yeah, he says champagne. But anyway, our car's lowering off the jacks.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the qualifier last time out. So some familiar names in the top 10, but some drivers who last time out didn't qualify so well, doing better round here. So good to see there's some consistency from Haller. He qualified pole last time out, now in second here. So obviously got some consistency about him. And Neves, who qualified 4th last time, only qualified 9th this time out. So, but he's got pace because he showed it in practice. So I think he's probably one to watch during the race. The two Porsches together as well, Neves and Weldon. So maybe it's a Porsche thing, but who knows?
Who knows, indeed.
I could be talking absolutely dog's whatsits. So
you could be talking out of your champagne coloured Aston Martin.
Exactly.
Daniel Direct then leading us around. Has everyone managed to press drive? I think they have. Brucey bonus.
Here we go.
Let's grab myself a bit of drink. And then we can start our prediction.
I just sat here the whole time, didn't even think about going to get a drink. I don't know why. I'll do it in between the two races, but
what are we saying for a prediction then?
So can I just point out Bordetto, however you pronounce his name, so sorry if I'm absolutely butchering that, but he's highest qualified AM in 5th position, so mixing it with the pros, and then the next AM is all the way down in 12th.
Yeah, tell me about it. We have a little bit of disparity there. We always do have a little bit as they come along.
Well, I think we had it last time as well, and I kind of said it's sometimes because of the car and also, for instance, if you look at my performances around brands, I'm generally stronger around there, and I will compete with the pros around there.
Yeah.
Other tracks, I've got no chance.
That's the thing. Those are the ones we
I'm a
notice. We've
pro,
got.
but you know
That's
what I
the
mean.
thing. We've got. That's the things we sort of notice. We do notice these things here and there. I think there was a
Exactly.
couple of drivers that were in the silver split this season that were managed to evaluate themselves into the gold, and we just knocked them down because we know they're really, really good at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, I mean, potentially at Bathurst last time out, on Sunday I qualified 35th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a track that I absolutely detest.
So we've started the prediction then in the chat. Bottomley in P17 versus McCloskey in P18. Who will finish higher than who? Get your free wife coins, your virtual currency as it were, on that prediction and let us know what you think. Who is going to finish higher than whom?
Why have I got to... Can we have a look at Gareth, please?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know. Let's have we've got to be very quick.
Saying Gareth's team name.
Oh, yeah, I noticed this earlier. It was Dan Smells last week. It's 60s Hairline Racing this week.
I don't know what's wrong with my hairline, but I mean I've got a better hairline than a lot of 20, 30-year-olds. So I think some people are just jealous.
No one can beat my hairline at the moment. It's literally I need to get a haircut. I've not had a haircut in about 4 months now, and it's becoming worse than the lockdown number 1 haircut. And get a man bun on the go and everything.
Right, I'm going to keep an eye on 14th back. So let's see if there's any
in the middle
carnage that take. Because generally, when the concertina, the first corner, is when everybody from 10th upwards decides to join the party. The first few cars get away, and the rest of them just get absolutely togged. And that's what I'm expecting, if I'm being honest.
I don't know what happened here, but Doretta's got like a second lead as we go green for ACCSimSeries number 2. There's a really good start from the Porsche. There's a really good start from the Porsche in Nevers. They're 4 wide further back. Gary Allen being sucked into the pack. Car out on the grass on the inside, and that's what we need to look for. Essentially, who is going to be on the inside?
Are very close together. Oh no, it's looking. Oh, there's a Lexus turned around at the back. I didn't quite see who that was.
And there's only one Lexus in this split, and that's Sorensen. So that'd be the championship leader for Am if that's him involved in there. There's a car off to the right. It's a McLaren. There must have been a big contact, and there goes, I believe, is that Gary Allen as well? He's had a bit of a shocker as he goes through the arena. It's not Gary Allen, it's another Golf liveried car. I'm not too sure who else had a Golf liveried car.
It was Sorensen by the looks of it. So he's the only Lexus. The white Aston's just pulled over and let him pass. I don't know if they were to blame for the incident, but I mean, I expected a lot worse than that, but we still got the second lap to go. So
yeah, exactly. As we saw what happened at the Bathurst, it was lap 2 that killed everyone. So we'll see how it goes.
I think because especially at Nurburgring, when there's a car in the background. I think it's a McLaren is off the track. Didn't see who that was. I'll try and.
It's not Bahan.
It was a white McLaren, so I think that was Nemeth.
Well, that white McLaren's been in the mares a little bit here. He had a bit of a shocker at the start, I think, in the arena.
Oh well, but because you're on the second lap, you're carrying so much more speed into the first corner.
Yeah, definitely.
People just get their braking points diabolically wrong. So, as I'm watching Alice McGuigan, she's was challenging Ian Otley, but she's now succumbed to Nemeth, unfortunately, into the chicane. So she tried to make a move, but Nemeth is now also...
Haller looking for the inside. There you have contact. They both managed to keep the car moving the right way, and that was a bit like you were saying earlier, the carrying more speed, and the Audi wanted the inside of that Lamborghini as he was going into turn 1. Luckily, both of them come off unscathed. Ed Terrell then in tops. Qualified P6, still in P6.
Oh, Nemeth had him. Oh, no! Nemeth had it coming together. No, that was silly. He just hit the Aston Martin.
Which one are we looking at, sorry?
Nemeth, who's in 27th. He hit the Aston Martin, I think.
He's been in the wars today, isn't Nemeth?
Yeah, he had an instant before that in the final corner as well, and I think it was between him and Alice McGuigan. I kind of was looking at your screen, didn't really notice what happened, but he had suddenly got swallowed up by a load of cars. Then he just sort of seemed to make him like just turn left as if the Aston Martin wasn't even there. So yeah, I think we've got a few penalties coming for him, which thinks actually that's just remind me. I'll go and I'll load up the steward sheet and just take a little look, see what's going on.
Excellent. So it's Carl Beveridge then was the golf-coloured Aston Martin that suffered at the hands of another car in the arena on lap 1. He's down from P7 down into P30. So we'll have to see how that gets on. As the Aston Martin behind looks like Chardon, maybe Ward actually. Chardon's has passed Ward now. It's getting a little bit slippery. Nemeth off again into the sand by the looks of it, making it trying to use as much of the track as possible. And this front little group here has run away with it a little bit. It's Direct, Haller and Long got a 3-second gap between themselves and Baldetto. Neves hot on the hills after a great start. Finds himself up into P5, and this becomes a rolling death pack in between Baldetto and Allen, all trying to grab the slipstream as they head into turn number 1. Let's have a little look on board from Gary Allen's point of view before we move down and have a little look further down the pack. They're 3-4 wide in some areas as they all head into the braking. Allen's got the inside as he head, or the inside now going to be the outside for 33 Aspero's Aston Martin. Let's have a little look how things are getting on further down the pack. There's a yellow flag there. Car number 54, Dave Wirch, had a mare coming out of turn 1. He's been involved with another car by the looks of, there's a big old spin. There's a green Aston there on the inside. It was a Ferrari of McCloskey as well.
We've got a car in the first corner who's facing the wrong way. I think that's
McCloskey.
Yeah, Ferrari and McCloskey.
I think he was involved in. Well, Wirch was the first to go, and a couple of others had followed.
So we've got some penalties incoming. 15-second penalty for 242. We've only got 242. So that'd be Webb. So he made contact with multiple cars. I'd imagine that's. I don't know when that was. Then we've got 10-second penalty. A 5-second penalty. Can't read. For car 42 coming in. A 5-second penalty for 712 and a 5-second penalty for 22. We've currently had 21 incidents. They've currently got up to incident 12. So we've got a few more to review.
Yeah, as they come in 951, them's had a bit of a mare. Who's 951? That's Peter Ward. Looks like he's had a bit of a mare into the hairpin. So it's car number 12. Yellow flag there for Alice McGuigan. I think she's just managed to recover that. Oh, there's a bit of front end body damage to that Ferrari.
I think what happened to Paddy Redmond, because I noticed he qualified 15th, got up to 14th. He's now down in 23rd. So we've obviously missed some kind of incident. There is an incident 13, which has 4 cars involved, and then there's another one, incident 19, that has 4 cars involved, and then there's incident 23 that has 3 cars involved, and incidents are just popping in to the sheets. We've got 25 now. So yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of it's just going to be rubbing. Oh, as Sorensen just hits the back of, I'm not even sure who he hit the back of.
It's an Aston Martin, car number 43. Paddy Redmond. That is the green Aston Martin. It's off into.
Yeah, but it wasn't him he hit. It was a car ahead of him, and then that car then hit Redmond.
Oh, okay.
So, but he'd obviously, I think, already been hit, as I said, because he was further up the field and fallen back. So, yeah, some drivers. Sorensen having an absolute nightmare tonight.
Yeah, he's having to recover. He's qualified 21st. He's now the greatest qualifying. He's in 28th at the moment. He needs to find an extra 5 spaces, and that's a really slow Ferrari. Is it in front of him? I'm trying to work out. I think that might be Otley.
Well, there's a big pack. 10th position all the way down to 5th. Very close out on track at the moment. This is all getting a little bit close racing. So
Gary Allen then in front, the Golf liveried Aston Martin, catching a little bit of the inside curve as we go through the Schumacher S's, and you want to be hard on the right. Oh, looks like there's going to be a little bit of contact there. There is.
What are you doing?
I think that was instigated by the Porsche, or the Porsche and the AMG.
Yeah, it was the Aston, the green Aston. I think it was something green. I don't know. My mind's just gone blank. But he went on the he just completely Just on the inside, you know, after you got up the hill and you got the sharp left, he just decided that he was gonna. It was the green AMG just to have a move there. Like, what? That's not an overtaking point. You're trying to take too much there. You're just trying to force it.
So here we
You've
go.
got to learn patience, people.
Yeah, Neves then side by side with Baldetto. Looks like he's got the Porsche legs as we go into turn 1. But Ed Terrell wants to have a little look on the inside as well. Make it 3 wide into turn 1. Aston Martin, can he get it slowed down? He has, but he's now going to be on the outside for turn number 2. And it's going to open the door for Baldetto to squeeze his way in as well. But carries enough speed on the outside through the arena. Can he get his nose in front? I think it is. Oh, he's going to have to...
Oh, Alice, what are you doing? Oh, she's taking out someone else now. People are trying to make moves where there aren't moves. Like, people are trying to make overtakes in the final chicane. That is not an overtaking point. Especially when you're carrying more speed than the car ahead. You're just going to pile into the back of them. People have just got to have a bit more patience. Penalties incoming, 10 seconds for car number 3.
Car number 3 then. That's somewhere near the back, I believe. I think it's Ian Otley and P24.
Okay, and then there's there's another 10-second penalty for car number 3, so that'll be 20 seconds in total. Paddy is on his way. He's decided to keep going, even though he's 2 laps down. So he's leaving the.
Yeah, I think he's
leaving the pits.
Voice crack. Yeah, I think he had to return to pits. He was on the outside of the last corner. What we just witnessed there though was Terrell probably having his best run at getting onto P4.
Are you up tonight, are we?
Sorry, it's been a long one this week. I've been back to work and it's catching up with me very slowly. But I mean, Ed Terrell there in the last lap probably had his best chance at getting himself some clean air up in P4, and he's let it slip. And Neves has now jumped past Baldetto and is trying to bridge the 7 or 8 second gap it is to the back of the podium. David Long, Durrett and Haller then. David Long finds himself, he's now at the front of that pack. He was at the back of the pack for a little while. Was Terrell and Bahan, like you said, trying to make space for an overtake on the chicane. It's just not going to happen. Like, you need to follow them through and then have a look down the inside maybe for the fight for Coca-Cola Curve. Or just try and just put your nose there and see what happens. Gareth Ronda then, picking up a 5-second penalty. He does find himself in P13. He's P11 in class, so picking up some nice healthy amount of points if he can carry that on.
There's another 10-second penalty coming in. I'm just not sure who the car is. Yeah, might be 54, but it might be another one. I'm not sure yet, but I'll let you know. Oh, pending post-race time penalty for 23 has just been cleared, which is Gareth Ronda. So I think that was. So I was just looking at the sheet. It doesn't make any sense why he's been given a 5-second penalty. So car 54 is about to get a 10-second penalty. That's Wirch, currently in 19th. Yeah. He should just get a penalty for that livery, really.
Yeah, currently finds himself down in 19th position at the moment. He's got his eyes set on the back of 18 of Joe Smeets in the number 22 Nissan GTR. But like I said, that penalty incoming is going to have some effect now.
So
the gaps are starting to break out now as people hit the pits. Spello, the guy that was involved in the spin on the exit of the Schumacher S's, he now finds himself in the pits. I think any of our leaders are in the pits just of yet. Wilden, then find the Porsche that was joined. He qualified 10th. He finds himself in 11th at the moment. He's now looking all over the back of Ray Birch as we head into the left-hander in the middle of the sector 2.
I mean, there's a few penalties. I mean, the driver steward's a little bit behind at the moment, applying a lot of penalties. So a lot of people might get them after they've done their pit stops. Not only necessarily matters a great deal, but there's quite a few that need to still be applied. So I think they're now starting to apply them at the moment. But there's still there's now 35 penalties, and they're currently up to number 20. So there's another 15 to review.
Slowly getting there, and Direct now chasing onto the back of Long. They seem to have dropped Haller off the back now, and that means Neves has got a bit of a carrot on the stick to try and find. Van Gastel picking up a 5-second penalty as well. Right, in pit window, still got 10 minutes left. There's quite a few drivers left to pit. Bihan joins us into the pit lane. He might have some damage as he was involved, like I said, in that spin with the AMG earlier on.
Yeah, none of the top 27 have pitted Yeah, I saw that David Wirt's just gone into the pits. He hasn't had his penalty applied yet, so he'll have that time added on to the end of the race. If you get the penalty before your pit stop, that is applied to your pit stop. So either way, you will get a timer. Sorensen, I just shoot it to it. He's wide, and so is Alice as well. McGuigan as Neves laps her, so who's currently in 4th position. So he's gained a few places off the start. He qualified 8th or 9th, so
Yeah,
not bad.
he was that Porsche had a
Oh,
great start. Where are we looking?
Mikey. Marcus Heller just sort of slowed down. I don't know why, but he's let Neves through. I don't know why he slowed down.
Something's happening because his front bumper's hanging on by a thread by the looks of it. He needs to get that into the pits this lap and see what's going on.
I thought Neves was going to hit him at one point. He was just in the middle of the track, so I wonder if he's going to pit now. Oh, as it goes a little bit. Oh, is he going to pit? Oh, is that a line? Oh, I don't know.
No, we're allowing that. It goes up to the cone on this one because it's a bit tighter.
Right, okay.
It's generally accepted up to the cone, but because of how tight the pit is. So he's Ed Terrell then to jump down the throat of Baldetto. We go down the start-finish straight. Looking down the inside again. Not a lot of room down there. He obviously knows he can get that Aston Martin slowed down a lot later than the McLaren can.
Takes a slightly wider line as where the McLaren takes a slighter line. You can see the Aston's using a lot more of the track, can't you?
Yeah.
Than McLaren or Bordetto. So as the lapped Alice McGuigan is watching from afar as they start to scoot off down the road. So
Haller's in, Allen's in, Van Gastel's in, Wilden, Smeet, Chardons and Otley then, all in the pits so far. Christian Smith as well is on his way in to the pits from 23rd position. Let's see.
I'm surprised actually. I would have expected the leaders to start, especially like someone like Haller to start a little bit.
I think Haller, it might be worth you going back and checking the replay. I think massive front end damage.
Yeah, we'll find out why that. Actually, this is a really good point. He did, didn't he?
Gareth Ronda going for the drive of his life, close to getting a nosebleed. He's up into 8th position. Still yet to pit though. Gary Allen comes out in 14th. I believe he may have even jumped Van Gastel in the pits. Have to see how it settles afterwards. Haller's definitely been jumped in the pits here by quite a few of our cars. David Long then into the pits from the lead.
Oh no! So up the chute markers. He's just taken too much curb, and then put it into the wall, and that's why he was slow, and that's why Neves managed to get past him. So to be honest with you, the previous lap he looked a bit risky through there as well. The car, he kind of got the car a little bit bent out of shape, and he managed to catch it. That time, he probably from the previous lap, he probably should have taken it a bit more cautiously. He didn't. And he's put it in the wall.
Yeah, definitely. So Baldetto moves into the pits. That gives some fresh air for Terrell. He needs to put some laps down. I know it's not in the same class, but if you can get an undercut here or an overcut, or whatever you want to call it, by putting in some really hot laps down now, just to bridge that gap, because it looks like he was most likely being slowed by Baldetto, just trying to get past him a couple of laps in a row. The pack started to thin out now. A lot of cars in the pit lane. The pit lane siren here at Nurburgring is going nuts as the cars are coming around the corner. Bahan out in front of Allen, Wilden, Espello, Van Gastel, Haller. Then Haller finds himself down into 5th in class following the pit stops. That's how much damage he had to the front end of his car.
Yeah, as you say, quite a few drivers decided to come in. Bordetto is now exiting the pits. Good to see the drivers observing the pit exit line, especially here where there's cars coming at you at speed down the. As Gareth now leads the pits as well. Oh, so a few drivers just got to take it easy. They're exiting the pits. just be aware that there's a faster car coming up behind them. But fortunately, no collisions as Durrett still leading the way.
Yeah, definitely. It's Ed Terrell then pulls himself into the pits. Now all eyes are on Marcus Halliday. He was in the lead. He qualified in P2. Has had a couple of laps at the top of the leaderboard, and then he's had an instant into the Schumacher S's, which caused him to have to pit early. He's now fallen himself well down the order, and it's given the chance for some of these guys to stretch their legs in front of him. And some of those guys include, like you said, Gareth Ronda, having a great drive. Now he's out of the pits. He's fourth in class out of the pits, having a really good battle here with Gary Allen as they go into the hairpin.
Both in the pits. Sorry to cut you off. Terrell and Terrell both in the pits now. So
yeah, Hopkins is gone. It's just Bottomley, Durrett, and McCloskey then. McCloskey, one of our ones to watch for our prediction this evening. Gary Allen then all over the back of this Jaguar as we head into we're out of the Schumacher S now. Looking down the inside, not a lot to gain there. Going to try and carry as much speed as he possibly can.
He's now entering the pits to do his mandatory. Not seen any penalties for speed in the pit lane tonight so far, which is good.
It's a good result. It's quite a long pit entry when you get there. Oh, that drive there from Gary Allen as he comes around the corner. He's going to find himself on the inside. Can he get it slowed down? He's not quite. He's jumping all over the curbs.
Oh,
that's a great pass there from Gary Allen. So that's going to put him up to, I think, maybe P3 or 4 as the AMG of, is that a Spello as well? Gets a little bit loose.
Is Gareth going to have a look at this point? Is he going to... I think he's a little bit too far back into the first corner, isn't he? You want to kind of just sort of concentrate on not trying to make the move, but trying to stick to the back of him. So, because Gareth's going to, I think, possibly going to come under a bit of pressure here from the AMG and the Porsche behind. Don't know if he's got the pace, but we shall see. But to be fair, it was quicker through that particular section. Was Gareth on than Allen, so he's caught him up ever so slightly there.
Yeah, he definitely has. I'll have to see if he can find any opportunity. Probably the next opportunity will be into the hairpin as Durrett is into the pits. At least Bottomley out there on his own at the moment. He might be diving in now. I think he is. Yeah, Bottomley's into the pits as well. So all our drivers will have pitted by the end of this lap. We can see where the dust has settled.
Gareth is unfortunately coming under a bit of pressure from behind.
I'm sure. I'm going for Ospello, but I'm sure Gareth loves a bit of pressure from behind. So Ospello Wilden being held up by Gareth now. Gary Allen able to stretch his legs. Direct then got to stop and go 30 for speed in the pit lane. That was our race leader.
Oh, Gareth was under a bit of pressure there, and he managed to cover it off. But Asemo has got the inside, but Gareth's not giving him much room as we go into the back straight. But Gareth runs a little bit wide, so I'm expecting the AMG to get a better drive as Wilden's just watching from afar as he goes on the inside. That's a risky move there. But he's slightly ahead now, so will Gareth be able to get him back under the brakes? No, Wilden. Osemo just seems to shut that door, doesn't he? And so I think Gareth's now going to come under pressure from Weldon behind. Yeah, and I think he'll lose another position very shortly.
I think Gareth has reached the top of the mountain whilst only being halfway up. But talking of halfway up, Durrett is stop and go 30 for speed in the pit lane. He was, like I said, the race leader, and that's going to effectively ruin his race. It's going to fall him all the way down the order. David Long.
I gave him the commentator's curse, didn't I, really? I did say that no one had got any...
yeah, you did nothing.
So, talking of penalties, we've got a 10-second penalty for car 43 for rear-ending my number, 79. We need to sort that out. That's my number. 10-second penalty for car 133 incoming as well. Who's 133?
133. Sorensen, car P22.
Oh, he's had a terrible first race. Hopefully he can have a better second one. There's also a 15-second penalty coming in for car 79. So I've missed a lot of these incidents. So that's Carl Beveridge. Carl, you and I need to talk. 10-second penalty for car number 12 incoming as well.
Oh, there's
So
been a
that's
little bit of
Alice
tangle with
Quiggin.
133 off on the side of the road at the moment. Let's have a little jump down to see what that's all about. I think it's between himself and the Bentley of Gibson, both under yellow flags. So see how that
Had
one.
a really, really eventful race tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has, Sorensen. He's the championship leader. The championship leader for the Tier 6. It's just not been able to find a rhythm round here.
So Duret's staying out so far. He hasn't cleared his stop and go. Part of me wonders whether he'll even pit and maybe just take the penalty at the end.
Well, even if he pits now, he'll still have the penalty because he's not pitting during the window. He did pit though, so I assume what's happened is he's may have.
Go 30, that'll clear. The window's only available for your mandatory.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's one mandatory pit stop, and Bottomley's not cleared his.
I'm not.
You're not. Sorry, I missed what you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about Duret, the best a man can get.
Yeah, I think no, I don't think that's.
10-second penalty for car number 12. Unsafe rejoin. Who's car? That's Alice. That's Alice McGuigan. Okay, that's the one I called out before. So she also got a warning before that for something else as well. So.
Yeah, so it looks like then David Long's.
Yeah, go on.
It looks like David Long's going to take the lead of this race. Only 4 seconds behind Duret either way. He has been putting in fastest lap after fastest lap. It's now up to 56.3 is his best lap.
Pits then, so there he goes to clear his stop and go. So
when
do we think he's going to come out? Maybe 12th, 13th?
I mean, there's a big gap in between second and third of about 30 seconds because obviously Haller was in there, wasn't he, as well as obviously Duret now pitting, and they were both stretched.
You lose about a minute, won't you? So
it's a stop and go 30, so you're going to lose like two. You're probably going to lose at least half a lap to David Long. I reckon he's going to be sat somewhere, maybe around Gareth Ronda, maybe around P10.
Yeah, I reckon about Gareth. So let's keep an eye. I'll keep an eye out on Duret, and I'll let you know when. Because he's right at the end of the pit lane, because it's where his pit box is. So he's right at the end. Let's keep an eye on what he does.
Oh, there's an AMG off to the side there. I don't know if that's letting everyone go.
Oh, that's just teleported back to the pits, whoever that is.
Oh, I think that was Bottomley then, obviously not clearing his pit stop.
Yeah.
And then he must have. I think he may have run out of fuel. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe have to go back and have a look in the replay, see if you can see any problem with that. Now, Gareth Ronda under major pressure from Wilden. This battle's been going on for 3 or 4 laps now. Wilden looking to go down the inside.
So Gareth and that have gone way past. So Duret's now exited into the first corner. So, I thought he was going to clip the back of the Ferrari then.
He's going to be down probably down near in 13th then. With Haller. Yeah, so he's with Haller obviously following that instance. That's how long the instance took to clear. And obviously his pit stop as well for Haller. He's effectively gained himself a.
So Neves in second. That's a few good places gained after the after quali. So yeah, you should be happy with that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he's going to find 25 seconds on the race leader. It's going to be Gareth still defending from this Porsche of Wilden. I think Wilden's going to have it on the inside as we head down the long downhill straight. He has got the job done then. Can he get it slowed down in time? Looks like he does. There you go then. Wilden up into P8. That's going to put him 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th in Tier 5 as we go through the end of the second sector.
So we've got Craig Gibson and Jakob Sorensen having a bit of a battle, but Sorensen gets a bit of a wobble on, and Gibson makes the move and moves himself up to 23rd.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ray Birch was not hanging around on Ronda then. He's absolutely done him like a kipper through the Schumacher S's, and now it's down for Ray Birch to defend as much as he possibly can. Gareth going to have the outside going into the final chicane, but Ray Birch needs to get himself slowed down. He does, mounts the curbs. Haller in the background, though, looks really wobbly. He's trying to go around Von Glan, the Bentley there. And Haller's smelling blood. He needs to get himself back on terms with these leaders. I mean, Haller and Duret even, sitting in 11th and 12th at the moment. They want to fight. They've got the pace they were gapping P3 and 4, so they're clearly faster than all these drivers. As the Jaguar then of Gareth Ronda dives down the inside of Ray Birch. Ray Birch kind of looking like he's just letting him go there. Knows that he's got more speed than that Jaguar through the rest of the track. Closing that gap up through the arena then. But at the same time, Wilden stretching his legs now.
I'm watching a three-way battle between Sorensen, Gibson and Beveridge, and they just nearly all had a bit of a coming together as Gibson makes a move into the final chicane. Oh, and Sorensen's gone way off into the grass. Don't know where he's going, but I think he was going for a picnic. So that's allowed Gibson and Beveridge a way through as they come to complete another lap.
Yeah, Durrett and Haller then in the background of the fight between Birch and Ronda have been all over the place. They've been giving a little bit of bumper grinding on each other and absolutely smashed it. Leader on the final lap. Where's this race gone? It's been all over the place.
I have no idea. But there's quite a few drivers towards the back of the field that have got a few penalties, a few 15s, a couple of 20s, a couple of 10s.
Most importantly, though, Gareth Ronda is defending this position from the Ferrari of Ray Birch. Ray make a bit of a mistake there, giving the position to that Jaguar so easily into corner 1 on the last penultimate lap. Haller looks all over the place trying to defend from this Lamborghini of Durrett. They're just having a really, really intense battle between them, and Haller now looking to pull out from behind Durrett as we go up the back straights.
I think Long's where is Long? Where's the leader?
He's probably halfway. 977. He's coming down into the hairpin now. Durrett then on the inside of the chicane. Haller's lost it completely then. He's had so much pressure applied to him by Durrett. And that battle's been going on for about a lap and a half since both these drivers either had long pit stops or a stop and go penalty. And it was just, they're outpacing the rest of the class, the rest of the field essentially.
Well, Haller did, didn't he? He had that moment where he put it into the wall. So he had a big repair job in his pits as Long's just going through the Schumachers, or up the Schumachers, however you want to say it.
Up the Schumachers, down the Schumachers, through the Schumachers.
Yeah.
He's David Long then. It looks like he's going to take himself, I believe it's his maiden win here for ACCSimSeries for Tier 5 and for overall as well. So it'll be a great drive from here, especially by such a distance. 25.6 seconds currently separates himself and Neves. Gareth then doing a mighty fine job trying to get that car in between himself and Ray Birch. But the car moves away and lets all three of these drivers go. Ronda, Birch, Durrett, all battling for position here on the final lap of the race.
David Long's in the final corner.
There we go then. So David Long going to bring that white and pink Aston Martin over the line to take the win in race number 1. Great drive from him. Very calm, very composed. Not picking up other mistakes like other drivers were throughout the race.
And then P2's currently coming into the final corner as well. That's Neves. So he's going to come across the line and take second position.
Oh, Ray Birch gone really deep. That's going to cost him a position to Durrett as well. So Durrett puts himself up into P10. Be the final drive of the day position if he can hold it. As Durrett then runs wide as well on the sand. At the moment, all it looks like is Gareth is the only one composed enough to finish the race in a nice, orderly fashion. As these two drivers between.
Chicane to go as Birch is putting Durrett under immense pressure. There's contact between the two. Birch goes off into the sand. Let's have a look at where Ronda is. That's all I care about. I don't care about if he's coming back on track. Ronda, is he holding on to it? Yes, he is. I'll get you for that team name, you scumbag. As he comes across the line.
Gareth Ronda there, finishing the race in P9. Durrett 10, Birch 11th. Let's go over and have a little look at our podium screen. You can get your votes for driver of the day in as well. So if you're looking to vote for David Long, it's P1. Neves is P2. Bahan is P3. Baldetto is P4. Terrell P5. Aspello P6. Allen P7. Wilden P8. Ronda P9. And Durrett P10. Let's head over to our post-race podium. What were your thoughts on that race, Mr. Glover, while I type out the podium?
What am I doing?
Give us your thoughts on the race, my friend, while I type out the podium.
It was the first lap. The first couple of laps were not as eventful as I was expecting. I was expecting carnage in the first corner, but there were overall some scrappy driving for some drivers tonight. I felt that people were trying to force overtakes in the first race, so let's try and calm it down for the second one. There's it's a technical track. If you just follow someone and put a little bit of pressure, they're bound to make a mistake. You don't need to force it. But some good battling there, and credit where credit is due to Gareth. He held on well there for ninth. So yeah, he doesn't deserve any credit from me. But
yeah, he did have a great
so,
drive.
43 incidents in total investigated in that first race. So let's see if they can bring the number down for the second one.
Excellent stuff. So let's have a little look and see who the driver of the day was. Oh, it's going to be not our boy, our young.
Oh no!
Oh, can't spell.
No, can't have that. No. Surely it's got to be P2. Neves qualified 8th, finished 2nd. Yeah, that's for me.
No, unfortunately, it's going to go to Gareth Ronda, then driver of the day for race number 1.
God, that's an absolute shambles. Who's done that? Disgraceful. Not having that.
So we're going to head into a very, very short break then, as he's turned his chair in disgust. And we're going to head into a very short break then. We'll be back shortly for race number 2.
Start like this.
He's still got his back to his chair, to you all in disgust for voting for Gareth Ronda for race number 1 as driver of the day.
Graceful behaviour.
I just think that.
Watch your language, Gareth. That's terrible in chat. Who let that in? We don't allow swearing in our chat.
I just think what we've skimmed over as well here is the supreme drive that David Long's done. 26.3 seconds. I mean, it was the work. We can't shade away from the fact it was the work of himself, Durrett, and Haller off the start to just fight their way free of everyone else. And
I mean, that's a bigger gap than I expected, to be honest. I don't know whether it's because he is a class above the rest, or whether it's just maybe his favourite track to what we touched on earlier on.
And I mean, out of everyone, he was probably one of the cleanest ones there. Like we said, we saw himself and Neves probably one of the cleanest 2 on the track. But we're going to move over into race number 2. Let's just get ourselves. For some reason, I was still on board with Gareth Ronda. So it tells how much of a supreme driver was. Gained 20 positions in that race, qualified in 29th, and finished himself in P9. Definitely a driver of the day performance from him.
Not too.
Right, we're going to move over then into race number 2. Set everything up. There we go. We're going to pop over that way. And here we are then, race number 2. And we're going to walk through the grid.
It would be nice if the timetables in ACC did show you people's starting positions, wouldn't it? It'd be really handy.
Yeah, well, the broadcast tool didn't even do it. We asked one of our amazing guys that know how to code things, and they added it in for us. So we go through the grid then nice and quickly. Durrett in P1, Marcus Haller in P2. Looking to have a nice clean drive from Haller and just show his dominance on the rest of this field. He's not had 3 races in and he's not had a clean one. Nemeth in 3rd, Long in 4th. Like I said, Nemeth, the same sort of situation with him. Had a bit of a mare in race number 1. Baldetto and Terrell. Beveridge and Bahan. Like I said, Beveridge as well, also having a bit of a mare in race number 1. Neves, Wilden, Neves seeming to get the same sort of start. Alan Espello, great result from Alan in race number 1. Van Gastel, Birch, Redmond, Bottomley. McCloskey, Isberg, Wirch, Hopkins, Wally, Hamal. And then we go back to the what was the Tier 6 leader, Sorensen, Von Glan, Smith, Smeets, McGuigan, Louis, and then Gareth Ronda, driver of the day for race number 1. Ian Otley, Craig Gibson, Peter Ward, Vito Fernandez, Mark Jodons, and Lewis Webb then round out the rest of the pattern. We just have a quick thank you for Oski Boy and Sax for their for resubscribing with Prime as we fall through the floor because I take my eyes off the camera. We're into our nice little sunset race here.
Oh yeah, sun in your eyes, just what you need.
That's what you need.
So, let's be honest. I mean, Duret should have won that last race if it wasn't for his stop and go. So he'll be hoping not to repeat that, and I suspect that the man in the Lambo will win the second race, as long as it remains clean at the start, of course.
Yeah, I think in between like him and Haller, I think they had a great battle going on there that ended in obviously Haller having to duck out in the chicane essentially and ending his race. But his race was over. His race was over anyway. But the battle that him and Duret had in the towards the end of that race is definitely something that I'd like to see a little bit more of. The drivers pull away for the start of race number 2.
See if Webb can have a better. Van Gastel's in the pits.
Oh, Van Gastel. Come on, mate. He's a rig.
6.
So is who? Terrell?
No.
Oh, those two are much more experienced than that.
Maybe they went for a pee or, to drop the kids off or something and they ran out of time. Don't know, do you?
Maybe, who knows?
Let's see if Mr. Chardonnay can have a Mr. Champagne, shall we say, have a better second race. What really bothers me about Ian Otley is his name hasn't got any capitals.
Oh, there's a lot like that.
And it's my OCD just kicks in. Like, why have you not?
You not noticed that Lewis Webb's is not capitals either?
Oh, I know. It drives me nuts. Yeah, I know. Then his team name's it's got capitals in it.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, peeps? Come on. It just makes the leaderboard look rubbish as well. I drive my colleagues drive me. Oh, there's a car stopped out on track. It's Eckhart von Glan. He's now moving again. Hopefully he doesn't get teleported.
Has he spun? Have a look in the replay. If he spun...
I don't know if he's spun. But he is trying to... Let me... I'll have a look. See if he's spun.
If he's spun, I want to know. We need another initiate. Another new driver. Oh, we can run another... Who won that last race between McCloskey and Bottomley? Can anyone remember?
I'll tell you in a second. What happened?
Anyone remember who finished high?
He just stops.
Okay.
He pulls over and just puts on the brakes and stops. So, okay. The first race. I can tell you when we get when the race starts. I can return to Gary to look at the leaderboard.
And then we'll start our prediction for race number 2 as well.
Yeah. Will Gareth get into top 10 again?
Yeah, that'll be the one.
Can he repeat?
Tell you what though, clean drives, gain positions.
They do, and that's what happened for me in the Bathurst second race. I was up to 12 until I put it in the wall.
Who's car number 3? Has Otley spun as well or stopped? He's now full.
Otley's just come flying down now. He's trying to get onto the back of it all.
Worst time to go. It's where it's all gone 2 by 2. As Direct then going to have this pull away start as well, like he did on race number 1.
He's just coming to the final corner now. He's on the back of the. They might be starting from the back.
Haller having a better start than the Direct, picking up a drive through then. I thought he had a bit of a jump as Neves had a great jump on Gary Allen as well. So Direct, the pole position, has got a drive through for jumping at the start. Haller in P2, Nemeth in P3. It looks like the McLaren of
There's a car
Baldetta.
off in the. There's a couple of cars off in the background. There's a couple of cars that are coming together, but nothing. Oh no! Someone's just bumped. Oh, the Gareth's round. Gareth is round.
No!
Oh no! There's more cars round. No, who's that?
Everyone, it's all gone to a bit to pot in.
Oh no! So that's got to be Nemeth again. Gareth got spun round. That'll be a penalty coming. Ed Terrell's just left the pits. Van Gastel's just sitting there. I think he'd given up.
Hello, it looks like it's a great start from Baldetta.
Oh no, Nemeth and Peter Ward have had a coming together as well, and Gareth drives round them. Nemeth's had a couple of eventful races, hasn't he?
He has indeed.
I think he's just jumped back to the pits. So, Jarrett, so what? I mean, drive through. Go.
He put his right foot down as he came out the last corner to sort of get that gap, as it were, between that he had in the start of race 2, and I think he must have extended it a little bit too much, and that's what's caught him, because the pack had closed back together again, but I could kind of see what he was trying to do. And Van Gastel still not left the pit, so I assume he must be out of this race. There's a collision together, including Smeets. I think that's a speller as well. That might be Neves even. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, Neves is down in 21st position, so he finished P2 in the end of race number 1, and he's had a bit of a mare at the start here, so direct leads. Then, as we cross the line for the end of lap 1, Baldetto finds himself in P2, where Nemeth
back as well from Jarrett. So
Jarrett needs to put a big old stint here to catch up. As Hannah looks,
they go to make the move on the inside, and a little. Do you know what? I'm going to say that was a bit of a driving instant there. I think the Hannah move was a bit late, but at the same time, I think Baldetto should have given him a bit more room.
Yeah, it's all 50-50 there. But that's gonna... I need to stop doing that though, because the thing is, Direct's got a drive through. That will cost him 30 to 40, maybe up to 60 seconds. We'll give it 60 seconds, and he's definitely got the pace in this Lamborghini to catch that back up, like if he needs to. But I mean, the start was just
but at the same time, like it's a bit like it happened in the first race, and I said it at the end of the first race. People are trying to force moves. There's no, you've got 27 minutes of the race to go. Why are you forcing it? And to be honest, if I probably was like that in the first season, getting a little bit carried away. But you just need to be a little bit more clinical in your decision making.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully, as the season progresses, these thinking processes will get better. If it don't, I'll find out where they are. We'll send them a wet fish. Right? Oh no! As there's a coming together between David Long and Behan. Yeah.
Oh, and there's a pack swarming behind behind now. There was a big pack there already that involved Birch, Wiley, McCloskey, Bottomley, Wirch, Von Glan, and they're all.
Paddy Redmond's in ninth, the lead in this pack. So he's had a good start again, like he did in the first race. I think he kept it clean as McCloskey's gone to make the move into the final chicane. Bit bold, but Paddy's let him go. He hasn't really put him under. Didn't really fight too hard there. But I'm a bit fearful because he's got all these cars behind him, and if they miss their braking points, I fear for Paddy.
Look at the pack as they go around that.
These guys up, isn't he, a little bit? So, and again, like what? I mean, I'm not being funny, but Ray, that's a bit risky being out that far, because Paddy's going to turn in.
Oh, there's a big off behind.
Who the hell is that?
I think it involved, but it didn't involve Birch. It involved Whaley.
Who was the rocket?
I'm not too sure. It must. Oh, it's Isberg. Isberg's returned to pit then.
Oh my God!
He was the rocket ship sent from outer space. Then there's absolutely decks
missile.
The life out of.
Who was in then? Did he actually break? I just can't believe he's just coming at that kind of speed. Just. I was going to have a look. I just, yeah.
Carnage, absolute carnage. But hey ho, Direct now 6 seconds out in the lead. We're going to get to Barretto. He's actually got 9 seconds on his leader, on the contender, sorry, for Tier 5 victory of David Long. And this pack has been completely thinned out.
He's just braked way too late. What's he doing? He's braked way before even the rumble strips start. Like he's braked past the white, the white line there as well. And then he's just come at. To be fair to him, he's tried to avoid people as best he can because he's moved over to the right. But as he's done that, cars have obviously started turning to the right, and then he takes out who's in the Aston. Who's in the? Is it an Aston?
It was, yeah.
He takes out Wally, Stephen Wally.
Oh, it's Craig Gibson on board with him at the moment. He's had a bit of a mare going through the chicane, and then sees himself into the pit lane. Then,
to be fair, that could have been a lot worse because he moved the way he did. He only took out one car. So credit where credit is due.
Right, so Direct's cleared.
An evasive move there.
So Direct has cleared his pit stop. He finds himself in P10 behind Ray Birch. Then is where he's come out. He's popped himself in between, Birch and Redmond. Redmond, I think.
Okay, well I'm keeping so.
Gosh, a big old.
I did like timing. Really needs to get his act together, doesn't it? Sometimes.
It's a big old snake of cars in this mid-pack here. It's a Spello, Neves.
Someone's making a move there up ahead. You're not going to make that stick there, are you? Really? But
I think that's Wirch alongside down the inside of Sorensen.
Neves as well. Again, a little bit. So I'm looking at the battle between 4th and 5th. So we've got Alan about to get over the gearbox. All of Wilden. Wilden's quite high up from his qualifying position.
Pit window is open.
Pit window is now open, so that's open to 15 minutes.
Yeah, see how many laps these guys decide to do. It'll be a good opportunity for maybe Gary or Michael to find themselves in the pits, and probably more Gary than Michael, to be honest. But just to kind of get, but you've got to look at that mini map behind and there is just an absolute mob of cars
Stay out as long as you can. The thing is for Gary, he will be thinking, because he does look faster than Wilden. So if he can't get past him in the next lap or two, he might want to think about just pitting, because he might gain time. Because generally, to be fair, all the guys behind 10.
There's a mob behind. It's carnage behind. There's an absolute mob of cars behind. Then Paddy Redmond pulling himself into the pits, but I think they were 3, 4, 5 wide coming over the chicane. I think some of them were trying to work out if they were going to go in the pits. Some of them were trying to stay on track. Some of them were just trying to take the chicane in general. And it's ended in a bit of carnage. And Sorensen, again, one of the big losers there in that incident, rolling out. Fito Fernandez qualified in P31. Oh, pardon me. At the back of the grid. And he finds himself up into 16th. So, like I say, keeping it clean, keeping it mean, and finding the positions.
Yeah, so trying to work out what's gone on there. So, Bottomley did try to originally try and make a move on Redmond into the final chicane, but backed out of it, which then put Sorensen right on the back of him. But then Sorensen to hit the back of Bottomley he hit Von Glan. All right.
Either way, it's absolute carnage then. So Bahan's down in the pits, Paddy Redmond in the pits, Roy Bottomley in the pits then.
So what happened is that Sorensen hit Von Glan, and then he's bounced off him into the way of Neves. Neves has tapped in, and Sorensen's gone round.
Carnage, absolute carnage.
Sorensen's, I don't know what he's thinking, to be honest. I just despair.
A lot of our drivers are in the pits now, at least. Probably 8 or 9 of the mid-pack has gone for the pit early. And this is where the order starts to slow down a little bit. We can pick a few individual battles to maybe have a look at. And the one I was thinking of here was was Peter Ward and Ed Terrell. Ed Terrell obviously having a forgetting to press drive, so having to recover to pits. As Peter Ward then in the 951 Aston Martin runs itself wide in the left-hander following the Schumacher S.
So there's only 34 drivers remaining at the moment, so quite a few have decided to say sayonara tonight for the second race. Gareth now finds himself in 16th. Could still make the top 10, to be fair. The gap's not that... There's not that much space in between him and Neves in 10th. That's possible. Oh, penalties. Here we go. Let's have a look. I haven't looked at them for a while. Just seen what penalty popping for Webb. 10-second penalty. Then we got 10-second penalty for car number 55. Then another 10-second penalty for car 951, 33, and 712. 5-second penalty for 22. 15-second penalty for 555, an unsafe rejoin, and a 10-second penalty for 977. We've had 32 incidents so far on the tracker, and they're currently up to 22 or 23 now. So 9 to go.
So the two Golf liveried Aston Martins of Gary Allen and Kyle Beveridge both swap positions there. Following through the Schumacher. It looked like Gary had a bit of a bad exit into one of the corners. I think Gary's going to take to the pits. He has. David Long taking to the pits as well. He was sort of in the exhaust of Marcus Haller. Let's see if we got that leading the pack. And that's a Spello there leading the pits as well. So we've got getting through these pit stops. 10 minutes still left of the pit window.
Yeah, so I see that Long's gone in, which will promote Weldon up into third. Unless he decides to go in, which I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. So I think Weldon was quite close to Long.
Yeah, they were battling.
So still 10 minutes of the window to go. Haller's within a second of Bordetto, who's currently leading the way. So that battle's not over yet. So I'd imagine, if I was Haller, I'd pit when Bordetto pits. Is that Gareth going? Is that Gareth gone deep?
Yeah, he's gone very deep into the first corner as Gareth Ronda, and it's opened the door for Jacob Sorensen to light the eyes up a little bit and see him going to these. Oh, I don't really know what's going on with Gareth. He's had another mare into the arena as well, and had to give that position over then. I say position. They're in separate classes, so he could just be letting him go just to get himself a little bit of a breather.
So Long after his pit stop, and Allen has also cleared theirs. They find themselves in 7th, sorry, in 8th and 9th. That's another time. That's not too bad, especially when you've got cars. Oh, actually, they dropped down a little bit. So the timing screens are just absolutely dummy there.
It's because the first sector goes from the start-finish line essentially. Oh, it's 107. Eckhart von Glan picks himself up a stop, go 30 for speed in the pit lane.
Oh.
But yeah, the first sector goes from the start-finish line all the way down to the hairpin, essentially. So it's such a long sector. Baldetto comes in. Wilden comes in.
There's a 5-second penalty coming for car number 16. The car 555 gets a warning. A couple of no further actions. So the guys are whittling through these as quickly as they can. They're nearly up to the covered them all. So that's good to see.
Gareth Ronda then dives into the pit lane as well. Who we got out on track? We've got McCloskey, not McCloskey, sorry. Haller is out in the lead. Beveridge and McCloskey finish at 2 and 3. See what I mean? This is when the Audi doesn't want to kill you. You can actually get a solid driver. I mean, he's still got 15 minutes, not even a halfway stage yet. We're just about to tick over. And our race engineer's about to tell us we're halfway into the race. But he's still not managed to die yet, so I think he's got further than he did in race number 1.
5-second penalty for car number 3 incoming. for blocking car 24. Settle down a little bit. The gaps up front, you know, 9, 5 and 6, 13 seconds. So once the pits have kind of come out in the wash, I'm hoping there'll be a little bit more exciting racing taking place. So everybody from 14 down except for everybody from 14 down, because
Yeah, those guys are going to filter into that pack.
They've all cleared the pit stops now. So Smith's now into the pit. So the top 9 are still to pit.
Yeah, so the battle essentially is how well Long's been able to drive the socks off that Aston Martin. It looks
I've just seen Ward is just recovering from going off track. He was in 29th. Trying to. So after the pits are shook out, Gareth finds himself in 18th.
Not a bad drive, to be honest. And I mean, this is all the pressure here is on David Long to put in an exponential amount of time on Haller, whilst Haller's extending his run as long as he possibly can. And
considering he had a drive through as well, and he's cleared his mandatory pit stop. Jarrett in 14th. That's pretty good recovery.
Yeah, we know he's fast around here. I mean, he's setting that astonishing 56 flat lap time. Like I said, he was extended. He was up to about 13 seconds after 3 laps of the gap between himself and P2. And so essentially he just needs to find himself probably about another 17, 18, maybe up to 20 seconds as Long looks down the inside of Baldetto. Not got any room there. These two don't really need to fight, and if anything, the fighting's going to bring Haller more of a gap when Haller begins to pit. Where is Haller on the track at the moment? He is... Where is Haller?
No, I'll find him. He is currently coming into the pits.
Oh, okay, there we go. And so Haller then... These guys are halfway through the first sector, so it's going to look as tight as they possibly can. Essentially, it depends how clean that pit stop is from Haller. He's not got the damage that he had in race number 1. Beveridge is in as well. Vito Fernandez on the way out. Sorensen's already in the pits and cleared his. Hopkins has just come into the pits as well. So Beveridge, McCloskey, I think that. Oh no, they are on their way. And it looks like everyone is filtering their way into the pits now. Oh, well, I'll tell you who it would have been. It would have been McCloskey, because Bottomley quit because he didn't get his pit stop cleared, didn't he?
Yeah.
So McCloskey can win that.
So the top 4 are in the pits currently. So let's see how it all shakes out. As McCloskey, I think, leaves now.
David Long's actually got a 10-second penalty. I don't know where that's come from or what that's for. He has picked himself.
What kind of number is he? He's
977.
I think I read it out earlier on. Yeah, I did. So he hit car 48 and spun him.
Oh, okay. So that was behind then.
Yeah. So there's a 5-second penalty for car 60 incoming, and just waiting on
that's Bruce Hopkinson
to update. He's about to give 2 10-second penalties. We don't know if it's. Looks like one car is involved in both these instances. Will 20 seconds be going to the same car? Well, drum roll, please. Oh no, he's downgraded them to 5 seconds. One of them's for car 555, and then one's for car 77.
Oh, so there you go. Haller's pitted. He is out about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of David Long. Obviously, with that 10-second penalty weighing on David Long's conscience, he needs to extend the gap as much as he can to Wilden to probably look to more to secure P2 rather to take a back-to-back win this weekend at Nurburgring. I think that's the likely chance on the cards. But then again, we've seen Haller throw away the past 3 rounds of the championship so far by making silly mistakes or being involved in little incidents here and there, and I'm going to have to see how that sort of falls into pieces as the rest of the race. 10 minutes left to go then.
Terrell, who's leading the race, has got to clear his mandatory pit stops. I suspect he'll come in towards the end of this lap. I suspect he'll come out kind of about where Gareth is, perhaps. But
yeah, there's no like major gaps like there were last time, was there? There's no more than maybe like 9, 10, 11 seconds essentially as we go through the field. A lot tighter racing, as you can see from that track map on the right hand side as well. The pack is a lot closer than it was last time round. Let's have a little see if we can see any battles going on. Car number 30, Daniel Durrett, still trying to fight his way through the field. He's got past Gary Allen. He's now onto the back of Michael Wheeldon. Anything into the chicane? Oh, he's looking for it. I don't think there's a spot there. You can put a bit of pressure on, but it's going to compromise yourself.
No. Gary Allen's then just absolutely lost it and thrown it away, throw it off the track. He managed to not collect anybody, so he's now into the final corner. And he's under pressure now from the McLaren of Behan. I think he lost, what, 5 places there? Potentially another one coming up. So, as Behan's got the inside line. So, Behan, I tell you what.
He's going to run himself deep there.
Good thinking from Alan, but now he's got the inside. No! Oh, Alan, you can't move over like that. He's not just going to go. He's not going to become a ghost. But Ray Birch is sat behind these two as well. So, Birch, he goes into the back of Alan. So, a couple of eventful few corners for Mr. Allen there.
Yeah, definitely. Now he's having to defend from the Ferrari of Ray Birch. And we saw these guys competing in the last race for position towards the end, involving Gareth Ronda as well, seeing that battle for position.
Last man pits, Terrell. So, 2 pit even. So he's falling down the order. Let's see where he ends up.
He's definitely behind work. Like I said, I think he's going to
be... He started 34th. So, oh no, he's in the first corner. He's spun coming out of the pits.
Oh, that's number 1. That is.
Oh no, cold tyres, Ed. Cold tyres. Oh. Now he finds himself, I think, in 23rd. So, oh, that's a shame. He threw a few places their way. So,
David Long is catching Marcus Haller. A slow.
I mean, 4th. This is a good comeback. I mean, I know he's fast, but.
Trying to work out. Oh, as Bahan's off the track into the grass through the chicane.
No, I think Gary Allen's just crashed again.
No, I'm on board with Gary Allen. That's probably Kyle Beveridge.
Who's the other one?
Kyle Beveridge. Yeah, he was up in.
He must have had a moment. He had a moment down the back straight by the looks of it. Oh, with Ray Birch. Is that racing with Ray Birch? Yeah.
No, that's McCloskey. They're very similar liveries. McCloskey's got a similar livery to Birch, and Beveridge's and Allen's are exactly the same. Like, you guys need to. I mean, all the colour options you've got in this game, and you can't.
I know. Sort it out, guys. Make our life easier, please. Yeah, it's kind of. The top 5 there's not a lot really going on right now. I mean, you got 9th, and we should be looking at these battles here. Close. You got Bottomley's pretty close to Fernandez at 16th and 17th, but
Shine a little light on these two back here as Bottomley gets a little bit stuck on the curb through the arena.
Bottomley's looking a little bit leery.
A little bit leery.
A little bit on the leery side there. Yeah.
These things sort of seem to calm down. A mixture of back markers. Got Baldwin Louis in front of these two guys.
I think Webb's quit.
I've not seen him for a while. I'm not too sure.
Van Gastel never got going. He just sat in the pits.
He's still in there now. I'm not sure.
I know. He obviously likes them. Maybe they're serving him tea and coffee.
And Gareth Rondas has had a big mare into the hairpin and has lost 3 or 4 positions to this pack of Wirch, Louis Fernandez.
Gareth, What are you doing? You could blame your team name for this. I think it's just giving you bad luck.
He's lost 5 positions there. He's lost to Wirch, Louis, Fernandez, Bottomley, Sorensen. All got past him in the hairpin.
Oh, shock! Oh, that's really gutting to hear.
Ed Terrell then, after his spin in the pit lane, going from P4 down to P23 by the looks of it. Long he is catching Haller. And he is putting a fight on for this podium as well. I think he might. What was he? 5 seconds from Bell.
I have a feeling that Jarrett might get the final podium spot as well, so I'm keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, I think Durrett will get P2 of the Tier 5 podium.
Oh, because the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, it's whether Long will keep it from Wilden, essentially. Oh, to be fair, Long might even keep P2 from Durrett. He's 10 seconds in front of Durrett now, and he is putting the bat into the hatches, as it were, and trying to get onto the back of Haller as well.
Yeah, but Durrett's about 0.3 seconds a lap fast, I think, at the moment. Is it? No, actually less than that, like a 1/100th of a second. So, yeah, that gap might come down ever so slightly. I'll keep an eye on their lap times and just see we.
This is a perfect tandem as well. The perfect way to check lap times and how the gap is going is by heading over to our timings app of pitwall.live. You click the little car, click the car you want to follow, click the focus eye on the car that you're looking to track, and it'll give you a nice little graph to show if that gap's getting smaller and bigger and what pace at what speed it is getting that way. It's Long now, 1.5 seconds behind Haller. See if Haller's tyres have even shot off. It could just be traffic, to be fair. He's now stuck behind.
Pits.
Is it? Is he running? Did he not fuel? Has he run out of fuel?
I don't know. He's in the.
Not too sure what's happened there. Well, he's definitely secured P2 in the podium now with David Long with this superb drive throughout the race.
Yeah, he's stopping. He must be getting a bit of a. He's fallen down to 10th.
It's an absolute nightmare there then. So it's Haller and Long. We've got 2 minutes left.
He's leaving. Yeah, he's misjudged his fuel by the looks of it.
Little splash and dash for the end. He's come out behind P16, behind Neves in P11 then. By the looks of it is where he's going to come out of the grid.
Yeah,
he's come straight out and into a battle as well by the looks of it. Let's have a...
He's in P11, so yeah, I mean...
Yeah, Neves P2, race number 1, finds himself in P11. And he's got Daniel... Yeah, this is how these things happen. You get so focused in on what you're doing and just make the silly little mistakes here and there that can cause big repercussions as you come down. So Wilden then in P4, McCloskey in P5, Beveridge in P6, all fighting for essentially the last spot on the podium. If Beveridge can get himself around through past McCloskey, I mean, he's got no one to fight for about 40 seconds between himself and... Oh, that's a rejoin and a half! Who's that from?
I think...
953, who's that?
I think he lost... to be fair to him, I think they lost it. 953.
Was it 951? Is it Peter Ward?
Okay, that's Peter Ward. Yeah, so I don't think it was a rejoin. I think the car... I think he spun and he just come back onto track. Nothing. I don't think there's much he could do. Blimey.
So unfortunately, we head on to the final lap. Then it looks like actually we're looking at Wilden. I was about to say there's 3 cars with the same livery, but Wilden's has got white on it. I was about to say Beveridge, Allen, and Wilden all with a similar livery. But that P2 for David Long looks pretty much firmed up now. He's at least 16 seconds ahead of Wilden on track. It's whether or not he's going to catch up to Haller in the final lap. Bottomley and Espello fighting out. Oh, Espello's off the grid actually. He's had a bit of an off in the left-hander following the Schumacher race. He's going into the back straight. He's lost a position there to Bottomley. He's lost a position, a fair few positions to be fair. He's lost it to Ronda as well. He's in P18. Fito Fernandez. Here we go then, into the hairpin for the final time. Through the Schumacher S's for the last time then for Marcus Haller. Finally going to get his just desserts, or his just rewards as it were, for 3 superb drives that have been hindered by small mistakes or other drivers that have caused him to lose out on those wins that he so thoroughly deserved in round 1 and round 2.
Yeah, finally getting the result that he needs. Yeah, been quite an eventful, again, another eventful race. Have a look at the, oh, there's a 20-second penalties coming in for car number 2.
I think that's Roy Bottomley then.
So 2 separate incidences.
Here we go then. So
33.
Marcus Haller then finishes the race with 3 tenths on hand to David Long. David Long put a fantastic final sector in then to close that gap as much as he did. Still had that 10-second penalty to contest with. Baldetto then comes in over the line as the winner of tier number 6. McCloskey in P2. And work further down. Let's have a little look at our driver of the day poll then as these drivers come over the line. Is Neves' penalty going to be affected? It is. So Dorette is going to secure P10 here with this 5-second penalty on Neves. And Baldetto will be P2. So driver of the day is going to sound a little bit like this. So Haller in P1. To vote for Haller, it's P1. For Baldetto, it's P2. For Long, it's P3. For Wilden, it's P4. For McCloskey, it's P5. For Beveridge, it's P6. For Allen, it's P7. For Birch, it's P8. For Hahn, it's P9. And for Dorette, it's P10. Let's head over to the post-race podium then. Clear those last 2 names that my robot hasn't cleared. And let us know your thoughts in the chat. What did you have to say in regards to that race? What did you like? What didn't you like?
What I didn't like, again, is people trying to force moves when there really isn't a need to make that move. You know, you're on the first couple of laps. Why are you trying to force it? And like I said earlier on, I'm hoping that with a bit of experience and a bit of practice, that they'll learn to take things a little bit more cautiously. So I think McCloskey had a good race there. Good result for him in 5th. I can see some votes for P2, or a vote for P2, but he got a 10-second penalty. I don't know if he necessarily deserves driver of the day. That's Bordetto actually, not Long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's just updated in front of my eyes. Wilden, that's a good result in 4th as well. And Beveridge up there. Allen could have done better if he didn't have that moment where he went off. He probably could have got top 5 perhaps. He lost a few places, so he'll probably be kicking himself a little bit. But yeah, just a good race. There was lots of action going on. I just feel like they're at the same time the drivers just need to throw a little more caution to the wind sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to give driver of the day to Marcus Haller. It was a 4-way tie in the end between P1, P2, P5 and P9. I'm going to take the deciding factor and give it to Marcus Haller then as driver of the day for race number 2. So that's it then. That's the bronze split over for another week. We head over to Spa-Francorchamps next week for another, even more eventful race, hopefully. Definitely a longer race in terms of track distance.
These guys around Spa is going to be fun.
Yeah, especially up Eau Rouge at the start. We'll see how many of our cars survive through there. So thank you very much for joining the sexiest man in sim racing and apparently the second sexiest man in sim racing this evening.
You've really got to sort that hair out.
Tell me, but look at it. Look at it, man. It's minging. It's actually minging. Look how long it is. Anyway, we're stopping my hairstyle in tip. It's nearly bigger than my forehead. It's nearly bigger than my forehead. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Thank you for being here as ever, Paul. We'll see you next week, or you'll see us tomorrow. You'll see Lars and Julian on stream with a silver split action. You'll see me on the grid, hopefully not killing everyone on the start-finish line.
I think I might be tuning in tomorrow, so watch out.
Excellent stuff. I expect my drive-throughs in the post. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see you tomorrow evening for the silver split action, Sunday evening for the gold split action, and then back here again next Friday at 7:20 UTC for round 3 at Spa-Francorchamps.
count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero. With fearless thoughts, emotions swirl. I wanna be the man that saves the world.